The Cave. Chapter 1. Taken by the Wild. The footprint was still warm. Jake crouched in the damp silt beside it, his breath shallow, his pulse hammering in a way that had nothing to do with fear. The track was massive and near twice the size of his own foot and pressed deep into the earth, as if the creature that made it had lingered there, watching him. Rain began to fall, filling the hollow of the heel with water. Jake reached out, pressing his palm into the impression. The mud yielded beneath his touch, warm and slick, and for a wild moment, he imagined it was the heat of a living body. What the hell is wrong with me? The crow called overhead, its cry sharp and knowing. Jake's head snapped up. Movement. Not just in the trees, but in the air itself. A shift in pressure, a weight in the atmosphere that made his skin prickle. The scent hit him next. Sweat and leaf resin, smoke, and something musky, animal, but not like any beast he'd ever tracked. His body reacted before his mind. Could his breath quickened, his muscles tensed, but not to flee. To wait. Then came the sound branches snapping, not carelessly, but with deliberate predatory ease, a low, rhythmic thudding matching the frantic beat of his heart. He should have run. Instead, he turned toward it. A shadow detached itself from the trees, massive and furred, its golden eyes locking onto his. Jake's mouth went dry. The creatureman stood taller than any human, his body thick with muscle beneath a pelt of russet and black. His nostrils flared as he scented the air, and Jake realized with a jolt that the Yowie was smelling him, smelling his arousal. A deep, rumbling growl rolled through the creature's chest, and Jake's knees nearly buckled. Then sharp pain in his neck, a dart. He yanked it free, but the world was already tilting, his limbs turning to liquid. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was the Yowie stepping forward, catching him effortlessly in massive arms, his golden eyes burning with unmistakable hunger. Awakening. Hate. That was the first thing Jake registered as consciousness crept back. Not the dry heat of the sun, but something living, breathing the warmth of fur against his bare skin. He was being carried, slung over a broad shoulder, his face pressed against a thick pelt that smelled of earth and smoke, and something male in a way that made his stomach clench. He groaned, trying to move, but his limbs were still heavy with whatever drug had been on that dart. The Yowie holding him made a low, chuffing sound, almost amusing, tightened his grip. One enormous hand splayed possessively across Jake's backside. Oh no! Then the world stilled. He was being lowered, gently, onto something soft first, he realized, as his fingers dug into the thick pelts beneath him. Firelight flickered against the walls of a cavern, casting shadows that danced like living things. A woman stood over him. No, not a woman. Her eyes were dark as onyx, her face framed by braids the color of tree bark. She was covered in a fine russet pelt, her body lush and powerful, her scent sweet like crushed Banksia nectar. She tilted her head, studying him with an expression that was both curious and knowing. Then she smiled, slow and wicked, and Jake's breath caught. Yana, a voice rumbled from the shadows. The sound vibrated through Jake's bones, deep and commanding. Yana murmured something in a language Jake didn't understand, but the tone was unmistakable teasing, indulgent. Then he stepped into the firelight. Taller, broader, a mountain of muscle and fur, his pelt shimmering copper in the fire's glow, his golden eyes locked onto Jake's, and the heat in them was hunger, pure and primal. Jaimia. The name came to Jake unbidden, as if whispered into his soul. Jaimia didn't speak. He didn't need to. His gaze raked over Jake's body, lingering on the obvious bulge in his pants, and a low growl escaped him. Jake should have been afraid. Instead, he arched his back slightly, baring his throat in instinctive submission. Jaim's nostrils flared. Then an elder's voice, creaking like old wood, broke the tension. "You've brought him," the elder P-Dar said, his white fur glowing in the firelight. "Good. It begins." Yana leaned down, her fingers brushing Jake's forehead. "Rest now, man of fire," she murmured. But rest was the last thing on Jake's mind, because Gaimia was still watching him. And Jake knew, with terrifying certainty, that tonight he would be claimed.